God afton. Välkommen till Inte en afton med mig, Jarkus of Hedenstorp. And today we're doing the episode in English, light of future podcast members, not only from people I have invited, but also people who I haven't invited yet. Anyhow, today we will be talking about identity, and specifically about identity in Buddhism and the school of Theravada. And the way we're gonna set this up is we're gonna talk about what identity is, what it means, why you have an identity, you know, all of that stuff, along with the Buddhist view at the end, and probably some Buddhist views sprinkled with it. And then I'm gonna talk about my identity, and that's gonna be it, right? So we will begin with an introduction to the game we're doing today, and the mod specifically. We're doing a mod for Portal 2 called Into the Multiverse. It's one of my favorite mods, but I do not remember it at all. So the puzzles might be hard. We might be stuck on the first level doing nothing, but at least I'm still talking. That's what I'm thinking. Anyhow, very well. Let us begin. What did you say? Today we are accompanied by some Earl Grey black tea. And that's the first sip of the day. Very well. Let us jump right in. Alright. That is some sensitivity. Identity. So.
Identify yourself or I will shoot. Come on. Help me fix that. Stand it down.
Would you come over here?
Yeah.
One moment. I will be right there. Identity. What is identity? Now, I will warn you, this episode might be a
Hello.
bit shorter than the rest.
I saw it. It was an accident.
Really? Alright.
Come closer.
Since this topic is generally not that huge. Okay.
Ah, here we go.
See you soon.
To me at least. Others find their own identity to be a huge part of their life.
So, what am I, supposed to do here? Alright, stand back, everybody.
And we will begin with
Here it
identity
comes, pal.
reasons.
Hey, hold on, whoa! No, wait. No! What did I hit? Well, can't win them all.
True for you. So, identity reasons. When you begin starting developing as a young boy or girl, you will find that around the age of, I believe, to be around 14 or a little bit before, around 10 to 14 probably, in the development, you'll find a need to describe
Hello.
yourself,
Hello. Hey.
to be someone, right? To be in a group, or something, to be in a thing.
Please stop.
And the reason for this, right, is because the human is an social animal. And we need to create these groups to feel safe. And if we don't, then we feel sad. At least at this age, right? When you get older, you'll find that the necessity for identity gets lower and lower. Since you don't, and we'll come to that later, where you don't see your identity as something that is formed by outside factors, right? Or you might not believe that.
Hi there! No, wait. Not again. I'm fine, aren't I? Yeah. Oh, this ain't good.
I'm getting it.
Don't tell anyone about this.
So that's the reason for forming an identity, right? When you're young at this age. But how do you do it? So what most people
Hello?
what most young people do is that they'll form a very
Excuse me, you're squishing me.
I'm fit. They'll find a very easy like hobby, friend group, something that's very easily manageable or obtainable. Like, for example, you could easily just identify as, most girls, they identify quickly as feminist, like they try to take sort of a revolutionary side on identity, trying to do something, greater than most people do otherwise. While men tend to, find identities that are way more relaxed. You'll see that most men today identify as gamers and most females identify as feminists, and that just really shows that men and females aren't alike at all when it comes to thinking with borders, when it comes to their own psychology.
Excuse me?
But yeah, that's what men and females will do. They will find an identity that is easily obtainable, something that you don't really have to do anything to become like a feminist. You can just say you're a feminist. You don't actually need to go on a rally or have a big speech, become a political person. You just have to say that you are a feminist, and then you're in that group. And the same goes for a man who says he's gamer, because most people or most men are already, or at least in this day and age, most men are so-called gamers because they play video games.
Your business is appreciated.
Thank you. But that also leads to issues, right? Since those identities are way open, most younglings, they will find that they don't actually fit into anything because, well, everyone is a feminist, or everyone is a gamer, or everyone is this specific identity thing.
Hello, friend.
On a loading screen. So you'll often find that with young people, they will start identifying with a lot of things all at once to try to find something that sticks, and it's sort of contagious. Since if you're in a group of friends, if one of these people identifies hardly with something, it might come to the point where the whole group also identifies with that thing, and it sort of unites the entire group, and that also leads to the identity being closed off, no longer needing to progress anymore, because now you have an identity. And for men, that identity is actually still gamers, but it will be specialized in a way. You can see today, back in the day, and there's this stereotype of, jocks, goths, nerds, all of that. But today, you still see these stereotypes, sort of, but they're not really looked at the same way. Because back in the day, if you were a jock, you had nothing in common with a nerd. But today, both of these guys, they play games, they play video games. But it's the different video games that they play that forms their identity, but they still say they are all gamers, right? Which here in Sweden, at least, I would say has actually contributed to a large decrease in bullying. Yo, what's up, guys? Since everyone has this sort of universal identity for men. And for females, I can't really speak a lot about that because I don't have very much experience or read anything about that a lot. But I can at least say that feminism still is one of the bigger things. But just guessing here, they probably identify with their beauty or other emotional stuff. Nice. Let's go for another sip. Clean job, guys. So yeah, men will have this universal identity. And I'd say men already had that before, with being, strong. Just like females always had this, like preemptive identity of being beautiful. But during the development of technology, men you didn't have to be strong anymore. You could be a simple farmer without any muscles, and there would be no problems with that. But now we are back on this sort of universal identity of being a gamer or playing video games. So yeah. Alright, I was talking about specialized identities. So let's say for a nerd, in a nerd group, going nerdy, using that word a lot. Don't know of any other words for it right now, so let's just keep going with that. So let's say they go a science sort of course in the what we in Sweden would call 10th to 12th or 13th, whatever, 3 grades past 9th. And at that stage, I did tend to see people sticking to some sort of video game type, because there's a lot of them, right? There's hack and slash, there's RTS, RPG, simple FPS, casual games. Now it's not, now it's even common to see H games, like PH games, you know what I'm saying? And these people, they will form groups not based on what they're doing, like nerdy stuff, social stuff, engineer stuff, jock stuff, you know, all that. They will form groups based on what they identify with, which is, you know, that's completely normal, nothing wrong with that, right?
There you are. Activated.
But you'll get this shift of previous identities, which was all about what you... What's this puzzle? Clean.
Excuse me? It won't be enough. Unknown error.
It's probably nothing. Keep testing while I look for a way out. Oh, hi. I'd love to help you solve the tests, but I can't.
It won't be enough.
I'm sure it will be fine.
Gotcha. Help malfunctioning.
This is not good.
So I guess that's some history on identity for you. It's been developing it from the things you do in work time to more things you do in your spare time, which is probably all natural, to be honest. But yeah, I could probably confidently say, I don't know if this is true, but probably at the start of the industrial age, where work was, you know, primary thing, you probably formed identities with not what you were doing at your free time, because what you were doing at your free time was probably your like community drinking, you know, just a bunch of outside or like community activities, and everyone was doing that, so it didn't matter. But not everyone worked at your factory, so you had an identity with the place you worked at. And that's probably why you see older men today who used to work, and I'm talking like grandpa people at this time, at this point, they will have so much to say about their old workplace and about the people they worked with. But when I worked at like a huge company here in Sweden, I remember one person that I didn't know earlier then. So I guess I remember two people then, and I don't even remember his name, because me and my friend who worked there, we just called him the guy with the hat, and the rest of the people were like, I never worked with them, or I think I worked with the guy with the hat a couple of times, right? And that's why he's memorable. But in modern work cultures that are not, office-centered, or probably office-centered jobs too, they're way looser. It feels like it's harder to form identities. But then again, I haven't had a lot of work experience, but it feels like it's way harder to form identities from your work instead of from your free time activities. Hey, what does this thing do?
What are you doing? Oh, no. This is not good.
Yo, what does this do?
Critical error. Something's wrong. I need backup.
Did anything happen while I was out? Oh no.
Well,
It's happening sooner than I expected. I think we're in trouble. Wait, I've got an idea. Go press the button. Go press it. Press it. Press the button.
Shutting down.
Yes, thanks.
close one, right? Am I right?
Oh, my facility. Listen to me. We had a lot of fun testing and antagonizing each other. And yes, sometimes it went too far. But we're off the clock now. It's just us talking, like regular people. And this is no joke. We are in deep trouble. You're on your own.
What do you mean? Amazing. Boop. Next. Man, I should really write down my talking points and make it at the beginning. Anyway. Identity. So that was some history on identity. And then, so we know why we have identities. And we know how it came to be and how it's developed. So one question would be, how do we use our identities What is an identity? What is it really? Right. So when I say, and I don't actually say this in the real world, but what if I said, oh, I identify as simply, we'll do it simple. I identify as a gamer, right? What does that entail? Well, to me, from my perspective, when I say I identify as a gamer, I'm saying to myself that what I do is I play video games, right? In some form. What is it? So I'm giving myself a sort of stamp of reality, saying, well, this is who I am. I'm a video gamer. I play video games. But the person who I'm saying it to. So when I tell someone that I identify as a video gamer, they will see me as, well, it sort of depends, right? What they believe a video gamer is, because if they're also one, well, you don't really need to be one either. How do they identify video gamers? See, now we sort of create a complicated question here. So let's say they are an older person. They might identify a video gamer as someone who is, maybe lazy, or sits around doing basically nothing all day, right? While a younger person, someone who's younger than me even, born in like the 07s, they might be like, well, that's just everybody, so that doesn't really mean anything. Oh, you're a video gamer? Oh, well, so is everyone else. To them, right? While someone in my age and just a bit older, they'll be like, oh yeah, you're a video gamer, you play video games for fun, 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day. So it really depends. So when you say you identify with something that is something you do, like video gaming, feminism, well, that's something you think, but it's the same thing. People will have different reactions. It's not universal. So therefore, identifying yourself shouldn't be universal, right? What is this? Well, you could say that identifying yourself is, not universal. What's in here? Just wait. And you would have merit for saying that identifying yourself is not universal. But when you are identifying yourself, it's not really, to begin with, right? It's not really about letting other people know what you are, or how you are, and stuff like that. It's more about telling yourself. You're giving yourself an expression. It's like wearing clothes, right? You're expressing yourself to yourself. You don't want to wear clothes that you don't like, because they don't express how you are. And it's not only because we wanna, tell others what we are, like, oh, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a this, I'm a this, I'm a that. It's we wanna tell ourselves that. And I think if we didn't tell ourselves that, we will probably be a lot more, let's say, it's not sadder, it's not the word I'm looking for. Yo, what's up?
Where are we? How long have I been out? Oh my god. Look! This is not good.
Always has been. Alright. Now I do remember those lights will actually trigger like a bomb bot, so I don't want to do that. Yeah, not sad, but it will remove meaning from our lives by not identifying us with something. Like knowing who we are is a part of the meanings of life we give ourselves. Let me sneak. Now his light will come. His light doesn't reach. Alright, we're through. Hopefully. And, you know, humans are drawn to this meaning. I mean, one of the most biggest questions you'll hear about is what is the meaning of life? And now we're starting to get into the religious side of things. If we haven't done that already. So what do we know so far? That when you're young, you start to develop a need for an identity. You want to be someone, be in a group. You want to groupify. And this groupification, nice. It stays with you for a very long time. And at some point you might actually never continue developing your identity. And that's not bad by any means. Is there a point to jumping ladder? Okay, so we know a little bit about identity now. Something that you use to describe yourself with. For others and for yourself. Right. And what do we usually identify ourselves with? Well, it's outside factors. I mean, all we've talked about as far as now is outside factors. Work, video gaming, feminism. These are all outside factors. You might say, oh, well, feminist is an idea. Well, that idea doesn't really exist until you have the belief that the outside is, you know, patriarchal or something like that. Insert disc. I don't have one. And that's an outside factor. Faux show. What disc? Huge disc.
Cave Johnson, new owner and CEO of Black Mesa. That's right, you've been bought. First order of business, we're renaming you under the Aperture brand. I'm leaning towards Blapature Mesa. Marketing boys think something else. So, Blapature it is. Next, they tell me you people are conducting some anomalous materials research that could result in a resonance cascade. So, I'm shutting that down before you idiots end the world. A resonance cascade. You're supposed to be scientists. Use some common sense.
I did not remember that being part of the game. Oh. Laboratory. Yeah, all these identities are outside factors. And when people get older, they'll identify with, you know, their work. It's like, oh, so who are you? Or, well, I'm an engineer and I do this and this and this. Or, you know, oh, well, I'm this person. Like, if you're famous, you would say, oh, well, I'm this and that famous. Yo. My guy is a crazy person. One way to get inside. And now we have come to the Buddhist part of this. How the hell am I gonna get inside there? In Buddhism, it is very clear how you should identify yourself.
Hello. Searching.
Box.
Goodbye.
Whoops.
Target lost.
It states, it says that, or Buddha said, that the way you should identify yourself is with,
Activated.
why did I cube actually? Is with not what happens around you, but what happens inside. How you develop on the inside. So you should identify with your what you've done, well, not what you've done in your life, but rather what you do. And what do I mean by that? Isn't that an outside factor as well? It's like, oh, I'm an engineer, that's what you do. Well, that's not really what I mean. What I'm talking about here is how you behave, how you act, how you live. And these are inside factors. And why they're inside factors? Well, think of it like this. Let's see what example we can make here. We'll see how this goes. You go down a street and you see a beggar. Someone is begging for some cash. Now you might see this and no way, that is not jumpable. bad jump. We'll wait for it. When you go past this homeless and begging man, what do you feel? What are your intentions and emotional and thinking stuff like that, right? See if it depends on what you think at that time, right? If you give him $5, give him $5, so 5 Swedish crowns, which will net him 1 hot dog in IKEA. No. Then the question is, why did you do it? It's definitely some sort of puzzle here. Never been a run in these games. Oh god, we're gonna be here a while. I can feel it. When you... Yeah, so the reason why you're giving him these 5 crowns. You see, because it doesn't actually matter what you do. All that matters is what you think. What are your intentions? This is bloody interesting. This sign is radioactive. Alright. Yep. So what matters is your intention. Now what could your intention be? Well, let's say you gave him the money because I want him to, you know, not be hungry. Oh my god. Or I want him to be well fed or warm. But if you think, oh well, I have 5 crowns, I could just give it to him, you know, it doesn't really matter. Then your intentions are sort of, they're not good, but they're not bad either. They're more, what is that word? Indecisive? You're doing it because you can and not because you want to. Let's go. And that is how you identify yourself, according to the Theravada school of Buddhism. If the actions you take are good, but they're based on because you can and not because you want to, then that in itself is not good, because it doesn't matter what you do in Buddhism. It matters what you think about what you're doing. Of course, you can't do bad stuff either. So you have to do a positive act, but also a positive... You have to have a positive reason for doing it. Great level, thumbs up. So for this homeless man example, you want to give him the money because you care about him. Like, actually care about him.
Hello. Is anyone there? Sorry. you? I don't hate you. This is not good. Take me with you.
Let's get out of here. Anyway. So it's about the intentions. Now, how can you identify with intention? That doesn't really make sense, right? Take them with you on your journey. Not that sense. Go up. Nice. How to identify with intention. So, there's been a lot of problems with this because identity is not seen in the same way. If someone comes up to you and asks about your identity and you say, oh well, I identify as a good intentioned person, to them that might not mean anything that they consider useful. So I did some asking, and I'm just gonna bring that up real quick. And that is unfortunate. We'll see if I can remember. I asked a fellow Buddhist and read some in the Tripitaka, which is the religious text of ours. And the way we identify ourselves, or how we say it, is unusual, right? When someone asks me how I identify as Saint, I always wanted to answer, oh well, I'm the son of my mother, and I would say my mother's name.
Who's there? Please put me down.
Not a great shot, eh?
Who are you? Malfunctioning.
Well,
Please stop. Sorry. Ow. Activated.
so someone asked me, what do you identify with? Then I would say, well, I identify myself with my intentions and my actions. And my intentions are those of the eight paths, the eight scaffolding paths or whatever is in English. And that's it. That's why I identify with it. So I'm simply saying that I'm identifying with intention, my acts, and the eighth, let's just call it the eighth way. And then they might ask, "Oh well, what are your acts? What are your intentions?" Because it doesn't really mean anything if you just say that. So this, excuse me. This is where you'll have to explain a lot. You see, in Buddhism, you can't really throw an identity at one thing. You'll have to make it huge. So I will have to give them a bunch of examples of, you know, what I do and what are my intentions been with all the things I've done. So let's do a really shortened version. I'll just give one example and one intention. So, well, what I've done, I created a huge document for my fellow students to help them in their studies. It has a bunch of, you know, graphics that the teachers didn't show and stuff that generally isn't available to them through casual or normal means. And I created them so they can learn better. So what I've told them now, or this person who's asking me about my identity, I've told them something that I've done and my intention with that thing. And I identify with that action. That whole process, I identify with that. That is who I am. And this is one thing. There's a lot of things that I do that are like that. And I'm trying to do more things that I like that, because that's how I identify myself. To me, my actions and the reason I do those actions are my identity, which I would say is a very religious way to look at it. And a Christian person might not think of their own identity the same way Buddhists do, because for a Christian it's more about the world around them, and that goes for all the other religions, I'd say. But for Buddhism, which at times don't even count as a religion, it's more about yourself. I mean, you look at the Theravada school and you see that you don't even need to go to a temple. You don't need any guidance. All you need is yourself and the knowledge. Because the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, he didn't want anyone to need someone else. These are all. He wanted you to be able to become a Buddhist without needing to do any, you know, real sort of learning, I say. But what I mean is, he didn't want you to go to a temple, form a community, and, you know, form a society. What Buddhism is, it's all on the individual level. You can even see that in the texts. He talks about society as something that is second-hand. It's not relevant to your religious path. So in my case, whatever the Swedish government, whatever the community, whatever anything that's local is doing, it doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want, basically, and so can anyone else. And to me, I respect and understand anything they do, right? Let's take a big taboo for me, right? Drinking alcohol and anything that's, you know, addictive, like nicotine or anything like that. The closest I've come to anything addictive is the caffeine in this cup of tea. Anyway, and personally I don't really like that tea anyway that much. I only drink it at times. Out of sort of a cultural belief anyway. Tangent. I digress. I completely forgot. Identifying person. Right, the big taboo. Most people in the Western world, I'd say, they drink a lot of alcohol, you know? Well, not a lot, but way more than I would ever think of, ever. What are we doing here? And you know, to me, it's like, you drink, oh, that's cool. Because it doesn't matter if they drink. They don't become a different person. They're not less of a human. They're just a guy or a girl who drinks, and then there's nothing to it. So is a guy who kills. So is a guy who is exactly now like me. It doesn't make them a better human. It doesn't make them a worse human. And I read about this, according to the Buddha, right? It's also, while we, the Buddhists, are forgiving, the way of the Buddhists is not forgiving. There's a story about a soldier, and I might have mentioned this earlier in one of my Swedish videos. The story about a soldier who, you know, he's a soldier, he's killed people back in their time, so you know, swords and for their village, and you know, a lot smaller world. And he came seeking forgiveness, like in Christianity, you know, seek forgiveness from the Pope or whatever. Well, not at that time, but in the future they did. They would seek forgiveness from the Buddha. But he would always say, or in this story, he said, whatever you do, whatever you've done, you've killed people, and therefore you will never reach Buddha. You'll never do it. Because he took someone else's life. He will never become the Buddha, or a Buddha. His karma is forfeit, it's destroyed. But that doesn't mean you can't have a better karma. Because, you know, it's all about the samsara, which is, you know, the way of the what you become, what you are reborn into. You see, his identity to the Buddha was evil. Because when he killed someone, he did it because not because it was better for the world or anything like that. It was because, you know, he hated him. He wanted his land or his money or whatever the reason for him being a soldier or the war was. It was negative on both sides. It was a negative act, and he had negative reasons to do that act. Therefore, his karma was negative. Of course. It only made sense to the Buddha. How the hell am I gonna do this? Let's get this. But then you, like, people might say, well, oh, well, why not just kill everyone then? Why not just go full evil? Well, that doesn't really help you now, does it? Because now you're just lowering your karma even more through the Buddhist standpoint, right? and it's there. I don't think there's a culture that enjoys killing. Is that good enough? I think I'm gonna make like a running pad and then a jump, and then like over there. Yeah, that's good enough. Just let it all fall. So if you continue doing bad karma things, first of all, you will mostly likely get killed. For like, if you continue being soldier, well, you'll probably die in the battlefield. Or if you do crimes, you'll probably be in, I don't know, die from something else. But that means that you will be reborn as something very bad, very low in the chain of things, very low in mental capacity. Because the higher you go in karma, the higher you are, in consciousness you're going to be. And for me, that brought up a question: how can a lion be a good lion? And I got an interesting answer, I believe. Is that for a lion to be a good lion, all it has to do, and for animals it's real simple, right? To be a good lion, you just, one, your intentions have to be good. What are good intentions for a lion? Well, let's say I need food for my baby cub lion. He or she needs food, and they are not omnivores. They only eat meat, right? So they need meat to survive. So they will hunt a few animals, from time to time, to get the food that they need. Now, that's a good intentioned lion. The act for humans might not be a positive one, killing. But for a lion, this is essential for the survival. Killing for us is not essential, right? And the whole vegan territory, we're not going to talk about today. But just know that being vegan is not a necessity in Buddhism. Anyway. But let's see the contrast. What is a bad lion then? What is a bad intentioned lion? Well, and bad intentioned lion is some lion that is alone, that only feeds himself, not his family or anything else. And it's a lion that kills not for food, but for just killing. Just killing. That's a bad intentioned lion right there. A lion that just kills and kills. And then, some naysayers might then say, well, a lion will just keep on killing naturally. They won't stop. And to that I say, how come there are lions living with humans? Why don't they kill the humans? You might say, because the humans feed the lions. Well, then my argument stands then, right? That proves that the lions, their intention is not to kill. Their intention is to feed their families, themselves, and, survive. That's their intention. It's not to kill. For a bad lion, the bad lion might start killing the humans, even though they get fed by the humans. But a good lion will not kill the humans, and not kill anything for that matter, because they are being fed, so they don't need to anymore. And you'll see videos of lions in I've seen this one video with lions in like a backyard play thing, and those lions, and I think they're lions. I don't remember quite the video. They're just cats. They sit down and chill and play around. That's about it. And, the same principle goes for humans and every animal. You could be a good shrimp, you could be a bad shrimp, you could be a good sea monster, a fictional sea monster, you could be a good one of those, or a bad one of those. A H.P. Lovecraftian sea monster. Doesn't matter. It's about good intention, and that is how we Buddhists identify ourselves. Not only with, our actions, our day-to-day jobs, or anything of that sort. It's about intention. Holy shit! Let's wrap things up, right? So identity is usually seen with the things you do. And the things you do is usually your work or your free time. But these things don't actually tell much about yourself. They just tell you what you like. And that doesn't really help you develop as a person. Because doing things you like, that's great, but it doesn't serve any purpose. Because the things you like, you obviously already do them, so why would you need to identify with them? Because I could identify as someone who plays video games. So I'm a gamer. Well, anyone is a gamer. Oh, I'm an engineer. Oh, well, lots of people are engineers, and they're all different. Well, my name is Jarkko Savedestorp. Well, what is that? What does that mean? And now you have to explain again. So to identify yourself in Buddhism, and the way I believe, is through your actions and intentions, and the eighth path, which in itself has the four noble truths. Right? And I believe that is the way of the Buddha, or the Buddhist, and the general human. It's about intention and acts. When I make these series, I have an intention, and there's several. So the act is me making the series and talking about life, Buddhism, psychology, whatever. My intention with this is to share my knowledge, to keep my knowledge, and hopefully be able to show it to close people, loved people that I know of, when they are in worse times. The depression is getting high and all of that negative stuff. And in the future, when I'm feeling low, I could also rewatch any of these videos, Swedish or English, and remember the way of the Buddha. And that I can identify with this series, with the intention and the act of making it. There's a lot of use, but I think you guys know what I mean. So, intention. That is how I identify, and that is how I believe you should identify yourself. With what you do and what your intentions are with what you are doing. And those intentions might be a lot. There's no reason for you to say them or do anything with them. It's being aware of them. Being aware of your intentions. Be it good or bad. Let's see if we can fucking do this shit, man. It's just that little... I'm gonna try jumping it. Let's see here. That is highly unfortunate. I need to get like a second jump off and then I can probably do it. Come on, baby. Let's go. I don't know how that worked. It looked like I was way over the blue thing. Whatever. Yo, my man be playing this tiny. Oh, there we go. So I'm gonna wrap this up by finishing this level. Hey. And I hope you guys got some insight on your identities. Yes. There you are. Ooh, there you are. I remember this part.
There you are. I see you. Target acquired. Firing. Hi. Well done.
Yay! Hello. This looks like the end. Free. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh
This
fuck.
is not good. Prometheus was punished by the gods for giving the gift of knowledge to man. He was cast into the bowels of the earth and pecked by birds. Remember that.
I think there's a lot of
Cave
things.
Johnson again, just a heads up, we've got an interverse security breach in one of the test areas. You all enjoyed a good chuckle at Cave's expense when I started monitoring for parallel universe invasions. You all tried to stop me when I tried to garnish your wages to build defenses against said invasion. Succeeded too, so I hope you're happy. You've got a bogey from Earth 1 loose on the premises. Go write a letter to the Better Business Bureau about that, why don't you? Actually, don't.
Looks like we're not done yet.
Your failure hurts me more than it hurts you. You know who it doesn't hurt. Well, me. That was just a figure of speech. The important point, though, is that it doesn't hurt the mad woman planning to kill all of us. Okay, I'm officially switching the theme of this exhibit to survival. Why don't you try that now? Oops. I'm sorry. I'm under a lot of pressure. That was cruel, though basically accurate. though probably counterproductive.
She's gonna see me, bro.
Take me with you.
Oh my god, bro. I remember this one. This is one hell of a Shug-Yug puzzle right here. Do I even remember it? Oh my goodness, this is gonna be a long ass video, bro. And my topic is already finished. Oh fuck. No, that works, right? Just get this in line. Get this all the way up there. Oh my goodness, bro. Then get these. He's not close enough. He is close enough. Nice, nice, nice. You're close enough. Come on. Ah! Fuck. I'm gonna have to like... have to make sure that he is on the top. Now I just have to wait for all the timers to die out and then I'm out of here. It wasn't that hard. So I'm going there and then I'm guessing to portal up there. And the starting point is right here, so I'm gonna place you right there and then boom, boom. Grab the boy. Actually, I don't need him. Go, 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 go. Let's get across. Oh, you really do need the height. And there we go. Ba-bam. Something inside here open up? Thought for sure that would open, but we'll see. Do I just go in? Go in? No. I'm being a dingus right now, aren't I? Being a real dingus. Not knowing what to do. Get your ass over here, boy. Let's just... No, it's not. It's not what I'm supposed to do. I mean, I definitely heard something opening, right? Ah. Would you look at that? gravity gun? Yeah. That is crazy. Come on, come on. Yes. Then we want some portaling action. Yeah, if you own Portal 2, you should definitely try out this. Unfortunately, the guy who made it, it's a very sad story, his computer burned down as he was making it.
Take me with you.
Alright. So there, unfortunately, he said like a couple of years ago that he was remaking everything, but I don't know, at that point I could see why you would lose motivation. How long is this level, bro? Thanks. And then he did delete the maps, but someone re-uploaded them. And thank God for that. I love this shit. Nice. But hopefully he will reconsider and continue making this stuff.
Keep flying.
For fate's sake. Yeah. Alright, if anyone asks, I killed him.
Alright, man. Wow. Let's go, man. Here we go now. To be continued, just like this serious. Always say that the word serious because it doesn't sound right at all. Anyhow, thank you for watching, and as always, ha en god